I think I'm live now. Good afternoon, everybody. It is Angie Atkinson, and I am here without the lovely and talented Dana Morningstar today because she is not feeling well. So we are going to send her positive thoughts, and we're just going to do this ourselves today. Let's see what happens. It's been a while since I've been live alone. Um, so I thought I would just start off by talking about whatever you guys want to talk about. What are you struggling with right now? What's going on with you? I'll tell you what I'm struggling with, and it has nothing to do with narcissism, but it's really snowy and cold outside. So, first we had a heater issue, we got that fixed, then we had a frozen pipes issue, still working on that. It's a lot of fun. Is anyone else dealing with the snow right now, or is it just me? Anyway, so one of the things that I saw recently in the Google News about this particular topic, narcissistic abuse recovery, was there's an article from Dr. Greenberg, Eleanor Greenberg, where she talks about why your abusive mate claims to be the victim, which I think you and I all have possibly experienced a narcissist calling us a narcissist. And I thought this was a pretty interesting article. She mentions a hypothetical example where she talks about a man named Carlos who's very controlling and critical. His wife, who was perfectly fine when she married him, now takes anti anxiety medication, is thinking about starting antidepressants, and they've been married 5 years. It's all going downhill. She says, basically, goes on and whatever she's doing, she says the guy orders her around as though she's, his employee. Nothing she's doing is right, gives her a list of chores. She doesn't get it done. He gets upset. And even if she does get it done, it's wrong. Anybody like recognize that? She said the crazy thing is that when I reach the end of my rope and complain about it, he paints himself as the victim. He can say 12 nasty things to me, but if I say one single thing in my defense or finally lose my cool, he accuses me of being abusive. It goes on. Can anyone relate to that? Because I sure can. Let me know. Oh, I forgot. I can't. Oh gosh, no wonder. Hello. I'm gonna type in the chat now because I just remember that Jack Lumen told me last week nobody could chat until I chatted first, which is a new thing YouTube's doing for whatever reason. So come talk to me, y'all. I just put the thing in the chat. Anyway, I know the whole thing about narcissists playing the victim. This is very common. And it leaves a lot of us going, wait a minute, am I the narcissist? And that's generally not an ongoing issue. So that is something that we're doing. Anywho, hello, Abdul. Welcome, welcome. I think our admin team is up. Jillian. Jillian's here, you guys. Hi, Jillian. I haven't seen you in so long. Um, let's see. We have Carrie, Changing My Life, Metamorphosis. Laura, hello, hello. Happy to be here. Happy to see you. UNA Peggy. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, Huffle Mom. Okay, thank you. Ascended Lurker. Hello. Yes, it is cold, right? I know. It's terrible. Hello, Betty. Jack, thank you for being here too. Huffle Mom, thank you for being here. Um, Dolce Sueño, Sweet Dreams. Love that. Hello, hello. Thank you for being here. All right, everybody. Oh, no electricity for days, Ascended Lurker said. That's terrible. I cannot imagine. My goodness. Michelle says, yeah, I've been there. He told me I didn't listen. I told him I wasn't a dog that will be obedient, right? That is that is an ongoing issue, right? It is. Um, I like that you told him that. How did that work out? I'm interested to know. I've said similar things, I think, in the past. Um, Ascended Lurker says, you look awesome. Rosie Pinky, so cute. Thank you. Thank you. I also have a pink light above me, which is pretty fun. Well, it changes colors. It's one of those smart lights. But I like the pink just for my own energy. So maybe that's part of the pinkness. Also, I do have a pink tank top on. I don't know if you can see that. All right, let's see here. Deandra says, yes, I'm the one with diagnosed depression, but it was the cause of all our issues. Oh, inevitably they will blame you for sure. But as you know, that's probably not really the case. Let's see here. Okay. And Karen says, hello from Switzerland. Hello, Karen. Happy to see you. Mystique, hello, hello. Welcome back. All right. Nubia, hello. Oh, Chicago dealing with snow. Yep. St. Louis here. I got you. Happy afternoon, sunshine. Hello, hello, Mimi. Um, Jillian has all the thumbs up. Okay, so let's jump in here. Hello, Aaron, Wanda, Bonnie. Thank you for being here. Hello to Wanda. Aaron, we have a great mod squad with us today. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Misunderstood said it's 75. I'm jealous. It's okay. You can be in 75-degree weather. It's okay. I'm only a little bit jealous. Snow can be fun when you're not having to leave the house. Chicken Mama says, why does this narcissist I live with for 16 years kick me out on a weekly basis? Now wants me out immediately, knowing there's no place for me to go. Okay. This is a common thing. Unfortunately, it sounds to me like this is a way to play on your fear of abandonment. It's a way to make your life harder. They love to do that. Um, I would suggest that if you do move out, you stay out. Is that a possibility? And as far as getting you out immediately, knowing there's no place for you to go, I mean, you have legal rights. Even if you're not even renting, even if your name's not on the house in any way, you still have legal rights as a what's it called? A resident of that place, and you get like, depending on where you live, you could have up to 90 days to, he has to legally evict you. I mean, of course, you could make your life really hard living there either way, but even people who like, sometimes people who go and I'm not saying that anyone should do this, this is wrong, but there are people who go like squat in bed and breakfast places, or in not bed, what are they called, the Airbnb places, people's homes that they rent out. There have been many cases where people have squatted there using this particular law. So you might check out what the law is where you live and see what your rights are. And then you might also look into some possible alternatives. My suggestion to you is, if you're with someone for 16 years and they're doing this to you on a weekly basis, take control and be done. Just something to think about. Hello, Julia. Blue Moon, hello, hello. Oops. I lost my place in chat. I hate when I do that, you guys. I'm so bad at this. Okay. All right, let's see here. True is in the house. Hello. Brittany King, hello. Cindy says, sounds like you're talking about my story. I feel you, honey. I think a lot of us can relate to that. Yes, let's see here. Chicken Mama says lots of snow in Western New York. Yeah, I've even heard Texas has snow right now, which is crazy. It's crazy. Yes, Michelle, like talking to a brick wall. Absolutely. Miss Tammy says, 7 years and my ex will not leave me alone. I just want to move. Have you thought about doing it? Tammy, let me know. Um, Angela says, thanks for all you do. My pleasure. Thanks for being here. Yeah, Jack says, Tammy, are you getting Hoovers from your ex? I see you, I hear you, and we're here for you. Yeah, I get that. And the Hoovers are difficult, when they're trying to suck you back in. Sometimes they take the form of, being sweet and nice, a little bit of love bombing in there. Sometimes it's more like, oh my gosh, there's drama and I have a problem and I need you right now. And then, most of us, those of us who are empaths especially, we not only do we feel obligated to someone we spent a lot of time with, but we feel obligated, or we feel guilty if we don't jump when they say jump, because what if they really do something, or what if something really bad happens to them and it's our fault? It's not our fault. Just remember that. You are not required to deal with someone who is unhealthy for you. Don't forget. If you have any advice on how to deal with stalking, that would be great, says Angela. Angela, I'll tell you what, a couple things. First of all, obviously, take all of the necessary precautions that you need to, as far as, cameras, security system, things like that, if you can. Secondly, I have a whole like stalker safety kit at Queen Being. So if you go to queenbeing.com/stalker, STALKER, so that's QUEENBEEING.com/stalker, that will take you right to it. It's free, and it's a whole thing. You can download it for free, and it tells you how to make a stalker safety sack, so that if you do need to rush out sometime, or all kinds of good stuff, and resources for safety as well. So take a look at that if you have a minute after we're done here, of course. Mystique Dana is, I think she hurt her back, so she's not able to make it today, but she will be back next week, I am sure. Let's see here. Bonnie, hello, hello. Dulce says to Chicken Mama, they will only get worse. Run for the hills like your life depends on it, because you are worth so much more than that. Yes, 100%. I totally agree. Tina me can't talk. Tina Marie Brantley says, hello, and you have helped me so much. Still have a long way to go with my children. I feel you, Tina. And I'll tell you something, kids, depending on how old they are, depending on what they, the amount of trauma they also have experienced, it can be hard. But if you care and you stay focused on what you can do to help them if they are still children. If they're adults, there's a certain amount of healing they're going to have to do on their own. And there's depending on how they're treating you, you may or may not have continued responsibility. So I would need to hear more about your story a little bit to give you better advice than that. I'm really sorry. But I totally feel you. um, okay. Yes, Bonnie, if you will please email me and remind me, or Jack, if you can remind me again after the session, I'll make sure Bonnie gets in if she's not already. Jenny says my ex narcissist made me think he was leaving to help me since he got them to believe I was bipolar and suicidal and he couldn't deal with me. So he was the martyr and the victim. Unbelievable, Jenny. I'm so sorry. This is a very common, unfortunately, it's like a pre-smear campaign almost. Like he told everyone you were the problem. He couldn't deal with it. And poor you, poor him, because you're so terrible to him with all your mental illness and whatnot, which probably isn't even an issue. You're probably, if anything, dealing with CPTSD, is my guess, but I'm not diagnosing anything here. I'm just saying, based on what happens to people in narcissistic relationships with abusers, with abusers, narcissistic abusers in relationships. You get my point. Hello, Just Hearts. Yes, misunderstood says Tina, hang in there. I totally agree. Hello, Teresa. It's good to see you again. She says, always wonderful to see you. I'm happy to see you too. Um, yeah. Oh, that's right. I did receive a smear campaign about Jack. I did. Yep. And, the thing is, you have to remember to, I'm going to give you another example. There is a friend of my son's who he's known forever. And we recently learned that, well, at one point she told us about these other friends who were not nice people. And so we just assumed that she was telling the truth. Well, it turns out she wasn't telling the truth. She had some other motives for that stuff. And so now we know those are nice people. And that's somebody that it's not even a romantic thing. This is what they do, is what I'm saying. Um, this is part of their game. Um, is that smear campaign. Yeah. So my point is, believe your own experience first if you are ever given one of those rumors, and if you are not, or if you're the subject of it, and someone who knows you, you know doesn't believe you when you tell them the truth, then maybe that person needs a little bit of emotional, or maybe you need a little emotional distance from that person. Something to think about. Um, let's see. True Two says, yeah, the 30-day residency rule. See, I'm not totally familiar with every area, but I know depending on where you live, in some places it's 90 days, some days it's, as long as you've lived, yeah, as long as you've lived there for 30 days, then you have rights, right? Okay. Michelle says to Angela and Miss Tammy, sounds like we have similar issues these days. My ex is sending many unwelcome messages. Right, right. So you see what that is. That's a situation where, again, they're hoovering, they're trying to suck you back in, and you have choices here. You could block them and be done, unless you're co-parenting with them, in which case you can also, use a court-approved app to only communicate with them through that, or just only respond to the messages relating to your children if you are co-parenting. If you're not co-parenting and you don't have any actual legal business with them, block them. Like, go onto your phone, block them on the phone, block them on Facebook, on Instagram, on all the things, and just the best revenge is just living the best life you can without them. Something to think about. All right, let's see. Healthful Mom, thank you for the reminders. Hello, Anna. Chicken Mom said Chicken Mama, he thinks if I move, we can still date and he's a lawyer. I mean, sure you could, but why would you? um, I think if you're in a situation where someone is, pushing you out like this, I mean, there are limits to what you should accept. And the primary thing is accept. If every time you spend time with a person, think about this. If you're spending time with a person and they, every time you walk away, or 80% of the time when you walk away, you feel like crap, or you feel less than you did, or you feel not good enough, or you feel sad or angry or frustrated, there's something to look at there. That's a big red flag. Sometimes we don't know, we don't realize the depth of what we're going through until someone else points it out to us. So if anyone's questioning in this stream right now, or if you're watching back later, if you are questioning yourself in your relationship, ask yourself, how do I feel when I spend time with this person? If less than if more than half of the time you feel terrible, look at it. If more than three-quarters of the time you feel terrible, consider leaving. You know, if it's directly related to something you're doing, okay, but I'm doubting that is the case for most of us here. Um, Sometimes they have a way of just twisting everything, and some people just really like to live in a constant state of drama and chaos. And I think a lot of those people are called narcissists, personally. But not all of them, but a lot of them. I mean, there's a difference between being dramatic and funny and silly and passionate, or being dramatic and negative and hurtful and abusive. You know. So okay. Um, Dynamite, hello, Dynamite says, "Hi, Angie. Can you talk about ambivalent feelings? At times I'm so mad, and at times I feel bad for them." Okay, this is really common. Um, yeah, what you're going through, I think, is assuming that you're outside of the relationship. But I guess even if you're still in the relationship, you could feel this way, where part of you feels obligated, part of you feels um, like you sometimes you realize that you're going through abuse. Sometimes you look at them and you go, how dare you treat me that way, right? But then other times you see the softer underbelly, sort of, or you see a little bit of vulnerability in them, or you see a little glimpse of that person that you once fell in love with. And then you think about all the things you do for them and you think, gosh, I don't even know if they could survive without me. And you start to feel guilty, and then you'll notice, maybe they get sick, or they have a condition, or whatever. You'll start to see little things. But here's the thing. Again, this is, I think a lot of us feel this way. This is one of the burdens of being an empath. But I think this is where perspective is really important. So, one of the things I've had my clients do in the past, and still today sometimes, is I have them, especially if they can, during the time when they're feeling very overwhelmed by this person or very upset by this person, there's this line of, how do I put it? You make a list, and you say all the things that they've done, all the reasons you don't want to go back or the reasons you want to leave, and you make it in excruciating detail. You use all the emotion words you can think of. And then when you have those moments where you feel, like, oh gosh, I kind of feel bad, maybe I should just, waste the rest of my life trying to make them feel better, I want you to look at that list. And then I also want you to remember this: is their happiness, and which they never really get fully happy, do they? Is their satisfaction or their toleration of you more important than your own happiness? Because the older I get, y'all, the more I realize life is not forever. This whole thing, we only get a certain number of years here on this planet, right? As far as we know. And so why would we spend all of it being miserable and feeling like we don't matter and feeling like we're not good enough and always trying to live up to the standards of someone who makes that impossible, and who quite honestly would not ever bend over backward or even make themselves remotely uncomfortable to make our lives easier? It's a thought, something to think about. All right. Um, let's see. I hope that's a little bit helpful, Dynamite. I know I could do a video for you on in the future on in a little more detail. Angela says there are also usually supports for people fleeing domestic violence through the state, and that's very true. Sometimes they don't support you when it's just emotional abuse, but sometimes they will. I have a resources. Excuse me, I can't talk correctly today. I have a resources page on queenbeing.com. You can check that out if you want to. Oh, somebody's at the door. I'm really sorry. One second. I think it's my child, or I wouldn't even go get it. One moment. Well, I think somebody else is getting it. Okay. All right. We have a super chat. Hello. Thank you from True2. Thank you, True, who says, Angie, after 16 years separation, what would make the narcissist go get a job when the whole time in the relationship, the narcissist didn't want to work? Well, after 16 years and separation, well, my guess would be that they realize that maybe you're not going to support them forever, or I guess I need a little more information, but generally it's either related to they want to meet someone else new for some sort of affair, or they want to move or to go on and do their own thing. Um, yeah. Okay, maybe that person's not going to the door. I'm sorry, I'll be right back, guys. 1 second. Okay, I am back. I apologize for that. Can you hear me okay? Okay, where was I? All right, so back to true. It really depends on the if you can just throw me some more details in the chat, I will look for those right now, and see if I can find out what. No, it's not giving me any more details. Okay, all right. Sorry, I don't know what happened, but yeah, that would be my basic guess, is that it has to do with something they want that we're not, that you're not providing, or they don't have anyone else to support them, or they want to meet a new person, or they've already met a new person, something like that. I hope that's a little bit helpful. I'm really sorry. Um, okay, now I lost my place in chat. Sounds about right. Okay. Sorry, guys. All right, here we go. Um, so, okay. I'm going to just go where I'm going where the next one I can find is. I'm sorry, guys. Um, okay. Elephant Room Studio says when a narcissist goes silent. I'm trying to see who they're speaking to. Hi, Alexander. Okay. Oh, Chicken Mama says I've been sleeping at a hotel. Chicken Mama, let me ask you this really quickly. So, have you looked into like extended stay places? Because that might be a little bit cheaper. Um, and also maybe be looking, I don't know where you live or what your situation is, but if you can afford a hotel for a few nights, I mean, maybe you could afford an apartment for a month, something to think about. I wouldn't sit there and just wait for him to let you back in. Um, yeah. Okay. Okay. I found my place in chat. Okay. Just Heart says, getting a lot of hoovering from my sister for my mom who has dementia. I'm no contact with them both, but I keep getting messages. Okay. So this is difficult. You could possibly change your phone number. I know I don't want to do that myself. I've had the same number for 20 something years. Um, but, that's one possibility. You could do a temporary change of phone number. You could also, I'm guessing they're coming through your email or um, through your phone. And I know that even when you block them on the phone, a lot of times they can still send a message and it'll just tell you it's a blocked person, which is silly. But if for the email, you can always set a rule to automatically delete the emails that go through, or just to put them in a folder if you want to look at them later, which I don't know that you do. With your sister, it sounds like she's probably herself feeling overwhelmed. I don't know what your relationship is like with her, but when someone has dementia, people start to feel sorry for them. But again, someone who's abused you for your whole life doesn't deserve your time and your energy. And I know that's not easy. I would say, if I were you, if you can't completely stop the messages, that you create some rule for yourself where you don't look at them, and then you focus on what you can control. Eventually they'll stop. I know certain situations in my own life where people have tried repeatedly over the years to do different things to suck me back in, and I generally just don't deal with them at all. So, something to think about. I just eventually they stop, is my point. If you never respond, they eventually stop. Um, I know that doesn't make it any easier though, right? I know it doesn't. Nails says, why is it killing me to warn his new girlfriend she's already pregnant by him with 4 kids? Maybe she's just trash. She knows he does nothing for his chronically ill only son. Okay. It's possible that she's trash, but my guess is that she's probably a nice person who just, like us, fell in with the wrong person. You have to remember what a narcissist is doing in a new relationship. They are telling the new person how crazy you are, the ex, whoever the ex was. And if and they're love bombing, and they're acting like everything's perfect and awesome. They're showing their best selves. But soon enough, the if not already, this woman will see who she's really dealing with, and she might even reach out to you, maybe. But for you to go and talk to her and say, hey, just so you know, you're getting involved with an abuser, and here's information to prove such whatever, you know what she's going to do? She's going to say you're crazy. And then she's going to tell him what you said, and he's going to agree that you're crazy because he's already told her that you're crazy. Okay. And so this is kind of how they almost prevent us from doing that. And so personally, I totally understand why it hurts and why you want to help her, even if she is just trash, which I don't think she probably is. But I think the best thing you can do here is to simply just, you know, let it be what it is. I mean, I'm sorry that he's not taking care of his son. He should be doing that. And if I were you, I would make him do that legally if you could, um, if possible. But if not possible, then I'm sure there are other. Well, I'll stop with that. But as far as she goes, she can't be your issue. I'm. It sounds like a terrible, horrible situation to be in for you to be watching this happening. But my suggestion to you is to do your very best to act like they don't exist. And if and when she chooses to come to you, then tell her whatever she wants to know, if it's something you care to do. But believe me, I felt like warning people myself about certain exes in my life. And I know what happens because just think about this. If you could remember the beginning of your relationship and you could imagine what would happen, and I know there are some people in this room right now who have probably experienced exactly this. Somebody came to them and said, just so you know, that guy was really horrible to me. He did this, that, and the other, or this girl was really horrible to me. She did this, that, and the other. Well, then what comes around is that person's already they're into that person at that moment, so they're getting only the good stuff and they have no idea what you're talking about. So they're and of course remember they've already told them you're crazy, so whatever you say will be taken as, oh, just crazy. I don't know how you put up with that person for you're so long, blah blah, then it's a more them playing a victim. It's not worth your energy, I'm telling you. Anybody have experience with that? Let me know. um okay, let me see, 1 second. Mystique. All right, Helpful Mom. Yes, you are so great with the reminders. And thank you so much. I'm so grateful for all of our amazing admin team. Um, yeah. Michelle said, been going through it. Okay, Elephant Studio. I don't know where Swain Fuller's comment is. I think that YouTube's doing something weird to me, but um, Elephant Room Studio says when a narcissist goes silent. So, I've done videos on this lots of times. When they go silent, if they go silent during the relationship, silent treatment, sometimes they do it to as an excuse. They'll start a fight with you and then they'll give you the silent treatment so they can go do something else without you knowing, or even if they get caught, they'll be like, well, you made me do that because you were whatever, whatever, which never is true. Um, the other thing that happens is they do it to punish you. You say or do something they don't like, or you prove them wrong, or whatever. It's a punishment. And the worst part is that for somebody like us, somebody who's sensitive, or somebody who's, well, I mean, every human has a certain fear of abandonment. I think it's just the human nature thing, right? Um, it's painful and it leaves us spinning and trying to figure it out. I can't tell you how many times I spun through someone else's silent treatment of me and tried to do everything in my power to try to fix it. And now what I know is it was irrelevant and it was never fixable in the first place, because whatever it was a way for them to not to control me. And that's what it is. It's a control thing. They want to control you, they want to control your feelings, and when they can't, or if they think you're getting too close to being right, or if I have one client who was silent treatmented because her husband cheated on her, and then she wouldn't accept his blame of her. Like, he blamed her for his cheating because she wasn't X, Y, and Z enough, none of which was valid or true. But his excuse was, well, you didn't do enough for me. And so therefore I went with her, which is another bunch of BS. So I don't know if that's what the question was, but there you go. um, YSMY says, when I was no contact for almost 2 months with a former narcissist ex best friend, I felt strong. Then I received a Hoover and I couldn't resist. Now, this is a real deal. I'll tell you something that I've noticed that's really interesting. If you, let's say if you don't believe me, try this out. Try to go for like 2 or 3 days, a week, without talking to your narcissist at all. And then see what happens. Like, if, and I'm not talking about if you're living in the house because that would be too hard. I'm talking about if you've left the situation or they've left you, cut them off for a week. Don't let them call you. Don't respond to them. If they text or email, just try to ignore it. It's really hard, but you can do it. And then you tell me how you feel at the end of that week, because you might be a little stressed out about it at first, but if you stay strong and you really ignore that person, you'll notice about day 2 or 3 you'll wake up and you'll start to feel like almost like a real human again. And then before long, you'll find yourself being productive again, and you'll find yourself having energy. And I mean, maybe not like all the energy in the world, right? It's only been a couple days, but there's a marked change in 3 days. I'm telling you, try it, see what happens. See what happens. Let's see here. Do do do. Okay. Yeah, I think Dana's gonna be okay too. She just said she hurt her back, so I think she's gonna be all right. She just needed to take today off. She's getting a little sleep, I think, or rest. Because back pain is terrible. She struggles with that a little bit. I hope she's okay too. Chicken Mama, he might be using. Dolce says, Chicken Mama, he might be using it as an excuse to cheat. If he kicks you out, cheats, and then takes you back in, repeat. Just an idea. I think that's absolutely true, absolutely possible. Um, and depending on, if you actually leave the house, which it says you've been staying in a hotel, so yeah, I would say that's probably a cheating thing, or possibly a cheating thing, or a drug thing, or a whatever he's into thing. Something to think about, for sure. And honestly, Chicken Mama, if he's done this to you every week for 16 years, honey, you need to just think about it, like, not coming back. If you decide that you're not coming back right now and you take control of your own life right now, do you know how much better your life's about to get? I'm just saying, it's going to get better fast. It will. All right. I mean, look, I know it's not like, okay, let me just be straight. Maybe it's going to be hard. Maybe it's going to be not, it's not like you're going to turn around and tomorrow, oh, everything's perfect. That's not how it's going to go. You're going to have to work at it a little bit. But within, by the time you get yourself into a place that you can call your own, and you start to put your bedroom together and your living room, and if you need to save money, you can go down to the Salvation Army and buy furniture. I mean, I wouldn't buy a bed there, but a bed frame, things like that. It can change everything. Okay, wait a minute. I have a super chat. Thank you from Misunderstood. She said, thank you, Angie, mods in chat. Thank you. I'm so happy that you're here and you're with us today. Thanks for being here. And by the way, you're gorgeous. Just looking at this picture. Hello. Sorry. What, speaking of gorgeous, let me just say something. I've noticed something interesting. Like, a large majority of survivors are very attractive people. I'm not just I'm not just saying that because I'm sitting here with a bunch of us, and I'm not pretending that I'm so gorgeous by any means, believe that. But in general, what I've noticed is in my support groups, my clients, here in this chat, people that I see, y'all are beautiful people. And there's a reason for that, because narcissists, they're not into like uggos and whatnot. Just something to think about. All right. They're into people that they can show off, is my point. I'm being silly, but you get the point. Okay. Moving on. Let's see here. Chilling with Byron. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Um, Alexander says, hi, Angie. My ex won't let me see my child, and she will call me at 3 a.m. Will she ever move on? Oh, I'm so sorry. Alexander, I'm going to say that she will hold on as long as you let her. The thing that's terrible is that she's got your child, so you probably don't want to just walk away, right? But what I would do is never ever answer the phone at 3 a.m. or answer and say, is everything okay with my child? And she says yes. You go, okay, bye. Click. Because you don't owe her anything. The only business you have with her, it sounds like, is your child. So legally, you have a right to see your child. In most cases, I would go and I would check into that and see what you can do. I have another super chat. I'm sorry, one moment, from Nubia. Thank you, Nubia. I appreciate you so much. She just sent me a $20 super chat and a beautiful butterfly. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Nubia has been one of our. I used to do a live stream chat almost every single morning during the week, and Nubia was here quite often. I really appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. Should I start doing these again? I feel like I'm so scattery that I'm not very good at it. Yeah, Alexander, will she leave you alone? Probably not. Will she move on? Probably. But anytime she thinks she can get your supply, then she will. So that would be my suggestion, would be to cut off any communication that's not about your child. And if your child's over, when your child's over 18, you never have to talk to her again. Something to think about. Misunderstood said, Michelle, I'm learning, like I'm sure you are too. Stay strong. Yes, indeed. We are all, yes. Gloria's happy new life. I love that. She says, "Thank you for being here. I need you. Thank you for being here. We need each other, honey." Michelle says, um, "Hiya to Mystique, rough going through Hoover's, where he's pretending to be religious and judging me. Oh, sending Bible verses. I know he doesn't know me and he doesn't warrant a response, but it wins me." Okay, I get that. And especially, my guess is, Michelle, that you are also religious, and that might be why it's getting to you, and he knows that. So my thought would be, um, if you haven't blocked him, okay, spiritual abuse, religious abuse, this is real. And it's not just from spouses. I mean, of course, it happens from friends, coworkers, relatives, parents, especially often, spouses, partners, all of it. And if somebody knows that you take comfort in your religion, they will try to ruin it for you. And in this case, judging you and sending you Bible verses, who are they to judge? I'm sorry to say what I'm about to say, but I grew up in the late '80s, early '90s. So, as the great Salt and Pepper once said, this is what you should tell. Who are you to judge? There's only one true judge, and that's God. So chill and let my father do his job. Okay, I'll stop. But seriously, though, he doesn't get to judge you. You don't deserve that. Like you said, he doesn't know you. And I know it gets to you, but I want you to get a little attitude about it. All right. I want you to recognize, Michelle, that you deserve and you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be respected. And somebody who's constantly judging you and sending you Bible verses to hurt you, they're not respecting you. And they're certainly not trying to help you be happy. Not that they have a responsibility to help you be happy, but you have a responsibility to not let people in your inner circle who would hurt you that way. And so I would block that person if possible. I'm really sorry. Big hugs. Helpful Mom says that should be everything. Thank you, Helpful Mom. I appreciate you again. As always, you really don't know how much that means to me. I'm so grateful. Miss Tammy says, "I'm low income and I have two kids. It's hard with the income I have. I hide at my parents' house. I try not to be home because I never know what's next." Miss Tammy, that is a very difficult situation. And I know it's hard. Um, there are lots of things you can do. But if you're working a lot of hours, and you're not making it, it just puts you in such a hard spot. Um, I'm really sorry, but hiding at your parents' house is something. Is there any way that are you being physically? Are you dealing with physical stuff too, Miss Tammy? Let me know. I'm really sorry. This is difficult for you. I'm so sorry. You're living in constant fear. It sounds like, and that it messes with your whole body and your mind even because it's like the fight or flight thing, the freeze thing, those responses that we naturally have to conflict, to stress, all that stuff. Those were put in place because of back in the day when we really needed those things. Mostly we don't need those things today, but they do kind of save us sometimes still, right? But maybe they're my point is when you're constantly living in that state of being on edge or worse frozen, which it sounds to me like you're just in the fight or flight mode mostly. Um, even then it creates like nerve damage. It creates rewiring of the way your brain is functioning. I mean, I'm not kidding. And it messes with your life and your ability to be happy. You're just surviving, Miss Tammy. You're just getting through and you deserve to live. And this person is eh, have you thought about taking legal action against them? I wish there was more I could help you with on this. Um, True says the narcissist. Okay, true. The narcissist hasn't worked in 16 years now. After uh, separation, the narcissist is working a job. What's up with this? Okay, again, I think it's about meeting people or taking more control. And I'm guessing that when they haven't worked in 16 years, you were supporting them that whole time, and now you're not, or they want more than you're doing. So let me know. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna try to see. Thank you, Miss Jillian. Um, okay, for putting the link in there about stalking. Um, let's see. Yeah, true. I'm gonna see if I can find any more details as I go down here, but let me know your thoughts on that. Puppy Time says, "Do you have advice for how to cut off romantic feelings I have for my narcissist ex? Thank you. I love all your videos." Well, yes, thank you. I appreciate you. Okay, how do you cut off romantic feelings for your ex? Okay, so one thing that helps is to literally make a list of all the reasons that you don't want to be with them. Okay. Another thing is, I think getting real with yourself. And certainly, I believe me, I totally understand how it feels to, to feel love for someone who can't seem to return it to you. But I think sometimes oh, wait a minute, I need to get this. Okay. I think sometimes before we are able to fully let go, we have to go through a grief period. And we have to, like I said, we have to get really real with ourselves, and we have to really understand exactly what it is that, that we're going through, exactly what it is that we've gone through. Because if you think about it, if you have a child, or you have a friend, or a niece or a nephew, or somebody that you just love unconditionally, I want you to ask yourself, what if that person came to you as an adult and said, hey, or somebody who's already an adult is okay, hey, I'm in this relationship with this person who XYZ, just like what you're going through, right? Would you tell them, oh, you should totally stay with that person, or you should totally love that person? Or would you tell them they deserve better? And as far as the romantic feelings go, I think it's about perspective and getting real, and recognizing how belittling they really were to you, how abusive they really were to you, and keeping your eye on the goal of having a life that treats you the way you deserve to be treated, and a love for yourself that maybe you haven't ever had before. And the one thing that helped me personally to do that was to start thinking about it from that perspective that I mentioned a minute ago, where I think to myself, well, in my case, I use my kids because I love them unconditionally and they're conveniently in my life. And so I will ask myself that question: what if my child came to me and said, hey, mom, this is what I'm going through? How would I advise them as opposed to how would I advise myself? Totally, just totally different, you know? So that can help you to start moving in that direction. And I can make a video to give you more information. True put another super chat in and wants to, says, why is the narcissist news supply running a smear campaign? And by the way, thank you, against me after a year of separation when I'm gone and no contact. Okay, because the narcissist news supply probably heard whatever the narcissist said, probably feels threatened by you. I'm looking here. You're very attractive. You look kind of tall in that picture. It's hard to tell because it's only just your face, but I don't know. I can, anyway, my point is, my guess is the new supply is threatened by you in some way and feels like they are not, you know, she may have even been using, or he may have even been using you against the new supply, right? Oh, well, he did everything better for me, da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? So there are so many different reasons that this could be the case, but I guarantee you that it's about that person's insecurity about you being better than them. I hope that helps. Thank you. I have a thank you, Abdul, a $5 super chat from Abdul. He says you're doing a brilliant job, Angie. Keep it up. We got you. Thanks for the great videos. Hey, thank you. I appreciate you, man. I really do. Thank you so much. Thank you. Um, okay, where was I? Catherine says so valuable, and thank you, thank you, thank you, Catherine. I have big hugs and love for you too. Catherine does this really amazing sparkly business. I just love all the things. Okay. Suze says, still trying to get over trauma bonding. Hard to make the move to no contact. Yeah, well, I'll tell you a little secret, my friend. I know what you're talking about. I get what you're saying. It's devastating, but here's the thing: making the move to no contact, it's the first step to getting over the trauma bond. I know that's hard. My suggestion to you would be to consider it a band-aid situation at this point. I mean, I don't know how long it's been. If it's been a couple days or a couple weeks, okay, give yourself a little minute. But you might need to go through the grieving process. And a lot of times people don't realize the depth of that, what that requires of you. I do a thing with some of my clients, and to help them go through that, where they can, we do like a whole weekend situation. It's really cool, but it really helps people and it really works. It's about taking the time to review what you went through, to accept what you went through, the whole grief process, and then at the end you get to the point where you're ready to release them. Until you get through that, it's difficult. And the other side of trauma bonding is your own self and your own healing. So you've got to be working toward healing in order to, you should be the focus of your healing, not that person. So you deal with that person, the memory of that person, as much as you need to heal yourself, but you can't expect to fix or heal that person. So I hope that helps a little bit. um Ascended says, Anyone over 18 can clean up their own mess. Do not take a Hoover. Ding ding. I totally agree with that. Um, and let's see here. Bonnie. Okay. Um, Purity says, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, Hurity Rayner. My ex narcissist divorced me but kept the keys and would not take her name off the lease. She has come in while I'm away at work about 3 times in 5 months and continues to pay half the rent. Why? She wants a place to land when she messes up whatever she's doing out there, I would guess. If I were you, I would, if you can afford the rent yourself, you know, I'm guessing she doesn't take her name off the lease because she wants to come back. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but I would change the locks if you can. Since it's a lease, you might have to talk to your landlord about it. But this is most definitely her way of holding on to one tree branch before letting go of the other. Do you know what I'm saying? So she's moving forward in her life for whatever reason, but obviously coming in while you're away at work is a huge invasion of privacy, in my opinion. And then, you know, continuing to pay the rent, I don't fully understand why she's doing that, except that she wants to keep her foot in your door so she can come back whenever she wants. My guess is she's out doing whatever she wants to do, and now she's back trying to. Yeah, she just wants to make like you're her landing place. That's what I'm saying. I hope that's helpful. Um, let's see here. Michelle says, recently started reading Codependent No More, and wow, every time she says alcoholic, I hear narcissist. Have been such a huge help for me. Thank you. I'm so glad to hear that. And yeah, that's the fact is the word codependency, of course, as you guys know, came from Alcoholics Anonymous, and it just fits with us too. Because we are in some ways addicted to the narcissist. It's a long, silly story, but it comes from the fact that addiction is in the same, is the same part of your brain is accessed by addiction as love. And when the love is toxic, it's more like a drug, less like a love thing. So we do really become almost physically addicted to them. So like our body betrays us a little bit, our brain betrays us a little bit, even when we know that we should be able to move on logically. Logic and emotion don't always work well together, so that's why we struggle so much, and they know it. They push the buttons to make us want to stay, and then those little bits of intermittent reinforcement they give us, where you see the little glimpses of who they used to be. Yeah. Those little bits of reinforcement, intermittent reinforcement, where like they'll throw a little love your way or a little less hate one day, and you'll kind of be, I remember when they used to be like that all the time. They were so nice to me before, and then you want that. You want that love bombing feeling, and sometimes people hold on for decades waiting for just a little more crumbs here, crumbs there, and that it's eh, they really learn how they teach us how to lower our standards, don't they? Yeah. Okay. Laura says, oop, what happened? Laura says, how would you suggest with coping while living with a narcissist mother when you have a debilitating chronic pain disease that leaves me dependent on her for housing? She has been so abusive my whole life. Okay, Laura. Um, I would guess that if she did not herself cause the debilitating chronic pain disease with her abuse, that she certainly exacerbates it. Um, there are so much evidence that, I mean, I just recently talked about this. There's a huge amount of evidence, in my opinion, that people who go through narcissistic abuse, if you look at our community, and when I say our community, I mean our worldwide community of survivors versus the general population, right? You will see a larger percentage of fibromyalgia, of chronic pain, a lot of other similar and related conditions in our population as opposed to the general population. And I believe that's because, again, this is all conjecture and theory, but I believe that's because of the type of brain damage, nerve damage, et cetera, that is caused by ongoing emotional and psychological abuse. They don't even have to touch you to damage you. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that that's part of that. Now, in this case, you're in a really difficult place because unless you have someone that will take you in, it might be hard to get out. Um, I don't know if you have a disability. If you do, they might, if you're able to get payments from disability, they might actually help you get your own place. I would suggest looking into your local agencies and finding out, is there someone, is there an agency locally that can help you? Because, being disabled, being unable to work and also being trapped by an abuser, this is incredibly dangerous for you. And so there's got to be some local agency that might be willing to help you get out. And if you are getting um, some kind of disability payment or something like that, that could actually help you as well, because you could get into low income housing or a number of other possible options for people in your situation. So I would say don't believe everything you're told, because I'm guessing your mother's handling a lot of that for you right now, and that's why you're under her control. But just start talking to people. Start talking to, I would start by just saying, Mom, I'm a little depressed. I'd like to have, like to get a therapist or a counselor. Usually even Medicaid and stuff would pay for that up to a point. And go sign up, get yourself a couple sessions, and tell the therapist or counselor what you're going through, and ask for resources to help you. They'll help. Yeah. Um, oh, yep. Just Heart says, yeah, lots of messages about emergencies that turned out to not be emergencies. That's a typical Hoover. Yes, it is. Yep. Um, yep, Jack Lehman, we're on the same page about the not warning the new supply. You're right. Let's see. I definitely say don't do it, because just because of what I explained, and the fact that you already know the narcissist is over there talking about how crazy you are. And if you don't believe me, think about when you started, you got with them, and what did they say to you about their ex? Now, sometimes that, but I 80-90% of the time they've said the ex is crazy. Now sometimes they'll come back and say, well, they were crazy, but they were better than you. And that's just to hurt you, you know. But yeah, yeah. All right. Prayers for Dana, says Bonnie. Always. Nails says, now that I know he never left the state and he was with this woman, I'm thinking maybe he had something to do with my apartment getting shot through. I would not doubt it. And if you have any, if there's any sort of legal proceedings happening, I would certainly tell whoever you need, the attorney or the police, if you have that suspicion, and maybe they can check into it. Um, Changing My Life says, and by the way, they've got those ring cameras, those ring door cameras, things like that, and probably cheaper versions of those. So I would suggest getting one of those as well, so that you can maybe prevent this, or at least find out for sure that it was him, and maybe he can go to jail like he deserves to be dealing with. All right, hold on a minute. I've got a super chat from Chicken Mama. Thank you. Thank you. Says, thanks for your advice. I know that I need to walk through the door, not looking for handouts, just a door that leads me toward the path I need to take. Thanks again. I totally feel you, my friend. And you know what? This message, it just makes me think about, yeah, I just said to my friend the other night, I hate when people feel sorry for me. And I think a lot of us are like that. We don't want to be victims. We don't want people to feel sorry for us for any reason. We would rather not. And so I totally, that's our nature, right? We just kind of want to be like, we're fine. You guys, let us help you instead. But sometimes it's okay to ask for help if you need help. You shouldn't be stuck in a hotel. You deserve to be happy and at peace in your home. And sometimes the idea of moving out of your big, beautiful house into a little tiny apartment bothers you, makes you feel like overwhelmed and underwhelmed at the same time. But I think about this and I think, y- that little, like, even if you move into a studio apartment, the peace is going to make it seem so much bigger. You know what I'm saying? To start to think about, is it really worth, is whatever you're dealing with really worth your misery? Because I don't know about you guys, but there's no consistent happiness with a narcissist after that love bombing stage is over. And it usually isn't very long if you really think about it in the grand scheme of things. So just remember that you deserve to be happy. And thank you for the super chat, Chicken Mama. I really appreciate you. And you have a cool name. I have a BFF who loves her some chickens, has a ridiculous amount of them, keeps buying more. But it's okay. She has a farm. She's doing good. Um, Let's see. Nail says, oh, yeah, I'm thinking, yeah. Changing My Life says, I stopped replying to his texts, even if they were about the kids. So now he's left me alone. He seems to think I have to reply if the text had the kids in it. So it kept flooding me. Well, see, this is okay. So if it's about the kids and the kids are adults or teenagers, even teenagers can do their own texting with their parent if they need to. But if they're adults, there's obviously no reason to, you know, to leave them involved. Um, Now that he's left, but this is evidence of even, of how a narcissist will leave you alone if they, if you do let go. Yeah. I mean, I know it's hard, but, and I don't know your situation. I can't remember I think I might know something about your situation, but I can't recall it right now because I'm probably need to eat lunch. But I'm a little scattery. But it does. Yeah, they will leave you alone if you just hold out. Yeah. YS says, but it's now only texting more from my side because she made me feel guilty that I haven't been chasing her. I don't know what to do or feel. Well, you know, guilt is an emotion that is most of the time unfair, especially for us because narcissists know that we're prone to it and they know how to pull it right out of us and they use it against us on a consistent basis. So I want you to ask yourself, should you be chasing someone who is actively abusing you? And remember that abuse is not just physical stuff. That's the biggest thing I think so many people don't know is that, just because they don't hit you doesn't mean they're not abusing you, right? Something to think about. Um, what to do, what to feel. You have to feel whatever you feel, my friend. But if you're not chasing because you don't want to be with an abuser or because you're tired of chasing or whatever your reason is, you're allowed to feel that way. And I hope that you continue to feel that way because you don't deserve to be abused. But if this person has made you feel guilty that you haven't been chasing and you're texting, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to either, you know, join the span group on Facebook and start doing your texting in there, like share your thoughts and feelings in there with them, with us, or consider talking to a friend and saying, "Hey, is it okay if I just text you all the things I really want to text to her?" Because I do that with my clients sometimes. I have them, if they feel like they can't stop texting their ex, I'll say, "Listen, you text me whatever you want to say to that person. You text it to me. Just get it off your chest, but say it to me instead." And that helps sometimes. It's just like writing the letter that we talked about recently. So that's something to think about. Hello from I have another super chat from Rav. Thank you, Rav. Rav says, I have been no contact for 1 year and changed my email and phone number. I'm still ruminating and I'm so tempted to look at my old mail to see if she messaged. Is this normal? Oh, yes. Absolutely normal, 100% without question. Um, First of all, congratulations on 1 year no contact. Secondly, the ruminating is totally normal, especially when you felt really in love with that person, and especially when they cut you off without closure. Closure might be the thing that you need to do for yourself. You might need to take the time to sit down and write the letter. I think 1 or 2 videos ago, I just talked about the letter, but it basically what you do is you write down all the things that you think, all the things that you feel, all the words that you never got to say to that person. You explain how they hurt you. You could even talk about the things you liked that you'll miss. Put everything that you feel about that person in the letter. And then at the end of the letter, you say, and now, even though you don't deserve it, I'm letting you go. I'm releasing you. And I am moving forward with my life because I don't need your negative BS in my life, your negative energy, whatever. Goodbye. Forever. Be done with it. If you do this, I know it sounds silly, but if you do this, this will help you metaphorically and otherwise release this person. So what you can do then is you can mail the letter, but I don't recommend that. I recommend that you actually burn the letter or throw the letter away or dispose of it in some way. And as you do so, you know, imagine that your feelings for that person are going with the letter, the rumination, everything you've worried about going with the letter. And some people find I think burning it is good if you do it in a little fire safe bowl or whatever, or if you're having a bonfire or a fireplace or whatever. Or so one person I know put it on a balloon. They tied it to a balloon and watched it fly away. I thought that was cool too. Cool imagery. But then somebody's going to find it possibly. So there's that. So yes, it's totally normal. You're not alone. You might need to go through the closure and or grieving process because maybe you've just been surviving for this last year to get through it. I hope that's helpful. And thank you again for the super chat. Let's see here. It's now only texting more for myself. Okay. Angela says, I literally moved to another country and it's been going on for 3 years. Love that you have a stalker kit and we'll definitely check it out. Thanks for I do. My pleasure. It's just basically full of advice and ideas on how to be safe and resources and everything. I think it'll be helpful for you as well. Hosiery, hello, says, um, hi Angie, I need your help. It's been almost 2 years, and on Valentine's Day, he gave me a necklace in front of my child and parents. I did not know how to respond. Okay. So you've been out 2 years, I assume you're saying, and on Valentine's Day, he made this point of this big show of giving you this fancy or whatever necklace. Here's my that's difficult. If I were in that situation, I think I would say thank you. That's very nice, and then I would, if that, I don't know how you ended up in front of your parents and your child with your ex on Valentine's Day. So I guess that's part of my issue. I don't know how that happened, and if I knew how that happened, I could give you better advice. But I'm just going to assume that that you happen to. I don't know how that happened, but I would say basically if you could politely say thanks or whatever, and then you could just move on or say no thank you and hand it back to them. That's the other thing you could have done. I guess I need a little bit more detail if I could about that, so I can give you a better more specific advice. Ascended says being around a narcissist will make your health degenerate on all levels. Run. Yep, 100%, no question. Yes. So, it starts with your mental and emotional health, and then it works its way to your whole body. And I'm not kidding. There's yeah. hmm Jack says to Bonnie, I'm sorry I'm not closer. I would make you some soup. Aw, getting ready to make surf and turf stew. I cannot even imagine what that would be like. You must be a fancier chef than me, my friend. Okay. Michelle says, that's my next book to read. Right on to Michelle. Lorian, hey, Lorian, how are you? Welcome back. Lorian says, do you have tips on protecting yourself financially and online after leaving? Would love some videos about this also. Okay. Yes, on protecting yourself online, I think it's about blocking them and a few other things, and I can talk about that in a video. Financially, I would say if you've already left, which I believe that I know that you have, but even if you haven't left, fix your credit, start doing the things you need to do to be safe and sound. Protecting yourself financially, I think start yourself a separate account if you can. If you're still in the relationship, you could start funneling a few bucks a week or a month, whatever you can afford, into that account. Maybe even depending on your situation, invest in the stock market a little bit, make yourself a little little nest egg that way. um, there are so many different things that you could do, and so I guess my point is just um, I'll make videos. I'll make more videos. But Lorian, if you look at the videos I've made on financial abuse or money here on YouTube, you'll see some of the information there. As far as protecting yourself online, give me a little more information. Do you mean from a smear campaign, or do you mean from them directly? Let me know. Rafaela, hello from Israel. Hello, my friend. How are you? Welcome. Do you think that a narcissist after total collapse and and not diagnosed with CPTSD will come out to be NPD and get treated as such? Okay. So, narcissists or people with NPD generally aren't going to be diagnosed with CPTSD, but I guess it's possible. Um, do I think they will come out to have NPD and then get treated as such? I think it just depends on the situation, and I think I would need a little more information to give you a better answer. I'm so sorry. I think most of the time after a total collapse, um, people feel sorry for you, or whoever the narcissist, if there's a total collapse. I'm not sure that I'm understanding your question. Could you maybe, yeah, sorry, just let me know in the chat. Um, Mystique says to Michelle, I'm sorry, going through this, Michelle. They are truly heartless. Stay strong. You've got this 100%. And we've got your back as much as we can. I think my chat is stuck. Let me see. Okay. Well, there we go. Yep, my chat is stuck. Okay, I hope you guys can still hear me because my page is also frozen. Oh, there it goes. Wait a minute. Okay, here we go. Oh, lost all my chat. All right, well, here we go. Rachel says, "Is the stalker kit on your channel?" It is. I don't know for sure, but if you go to, I know there are videos that you can watch. I can't remember if they're listed or not, but if you go to queenbeing.com/stalker, STALKER, you can find it there. It doesn't cost anything. It's totally free. So, um, okay, I'm trying to see if I can. Yeah, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm losing my place in the chat. Okay. Um, Doreen says I need to tell my story. Doreen, um, over at queenbeing.com/story, I think. No, it's, well, anyway, at queenbeing.com, we have a place for you to tell your story. If you just go to the site and go to the menu, you'll see survivor stories. Start there, um, and then you can see how to submit your own story. I would love to hear your story, and I'm sure a lot of survivors could use it. If you want to write it, that's how you do it. If you want to make a video about it, um, and you'd like me to share the video, or to comment with you on the video, or to send me a video. We'll work it up. I've done that before with other survivors. Let me know your thoughts. Um, Lillian says, I missed the rest of your comment. Michelle says, hold on. Michelle says, I was just thrown away like trash after 10 years 2 months ago. I just found out he has his childhood sweetheart moved into my home. He has started a new life without a word. I'm paralyzed. This is horrible. This is painful, and there's no excuse for that behavior. And I'm really sorry that that happened. I see it more often than you might expect. And I'm really sorry that you're going through that. I will tell you this right now, you won't believe me, and you'll probably get mad at me and hang up on the stream. But I'm going to tell you something. At some point in your life, you're going to look back at this and you're going to be like, thank goodness he did that, because now my life is so much better. If you have been abused by this person for the last 10 years, or some part of those 10 years, your head isn't fully out of it yet if you've only been out 2 months. And watching that happen, no matter how horrible they were to you, is awful and painful. No question, right? But now you're going to have to get through this part. You're going to have to get through the hard part, the grief, all this stuff. If you need to be paralyzed for a minute, okay. But if you are in a position to, if you're in a position to move forward, which you are now, you will be able to move forward in time. But instead of focusing on how much, look, hold on, feel your feelings. If you need to cry about this and throw things and break things and make crazy art about it, whatever it is for you, that's what I do. I like to make crazy art about things. Um, that will help you. And you will, one thing I did wrong in my own recovery was I didn't feel my feelings. I forced myself not to. I thought I didn't have time for that. But you have to take the time or you'll go crazy. Trust me, I know. Take the time to feel your feelings. Don't apologize for your feelings. Accept yourself for who you are and what you're going through. Be angry if you need to be angry. Be sad if you need to be sad. Let your feelings happen. At some point, you'll be ready to move forward. Right now, you're probably in that fear phase still. You're probably in that, I don't know what to do. I'm confused. I'm lost. I'm scared. I understand. I do. But at some point, you're going to have to find that anger, and that will propel you forward. But since you're already out of the relationship, it won't be as necessary, but it will be necessary for your mental health, because you'll have to get through the anger part where you realize this person wasted 10 years of my life. This person acted like I was not good enough for them. And at some point, my friend, you're going to look at them and go, oh, you know what? Actually, I'm too good for them. And that's the case. Watch. I know that's not very helpful. I'm really sorry. I wish I could do more for you, but I will tell you that I feel you. I know how you feel. And I bet you that 80% of the people here in this moment also know how you feel. You're not alone. Big hugs to you, my friend. I'm so sorry. Cherie, thank you, Cherie, for the super chat. I love the 1111, by the way. Cherie says, please do more of these lives. Question, what does a collapsed narcissist or depressed narcissist look like in a day-to-day life? Okay, so Cherie, again, thank you for the super chat, and I will definitely consider doing more of these lives. I feel kind of clumsy on them, and so I can't cut out all the bad parts, but I do see the value, and I really love connecting with you guys directly, so I'll say that. So I'll try to do that again. Question, what does it, okay, so a collapsed narcissist usually is somebody who's a little bit older. They've lost their looks or their charm or their appeal in some way. Not always older though. Sometimes they're just somebody who just kind of has been found out by the closest people in their lives. They've been kind of exposed for what they are. So a collapsed narcissist is going to look like, just for a metaphorical version, like those little burrs that you walk. I don't know if any of you guys are from where I'm from, but you ever have a burr get stuck in your sock when you were a kid or something, or in your leg or something? A little tiny, harmless looking ball that turns out to be full of little hooks and and painful things that never come out of your skin or your socks or whatever. Kind of like that. Um, what do they look like in day-to-day life? Like a sad little person, like a regular person. They might seem like a really nice person. They might seem loving and altruistic. This is the problem. The problem is that you can't always tell them from across the room or even right up close unless you actually know them behind closed doors. There are so many of these people walking around in the world looking perfect and maybe not looking perfect, but acting like they hung the moon, and people around them seem to believe that they did. And what I mean by that is that they're amazing and awesome, Um, and then they don't actually become the person. They're just not the same person. So they look like everybody else, but what they treat you like is the issue. They treat the people closest to them like crap. Pardon my language. They pull drama, they pull poor me stuff, they do favors for you, and then they expect things in return. It's like a narcissist times 1,000 almost, because they're not getting as much supply, right? So they're not, maybe they're, because they're not as attractive physically anymore, they're not getting as much attention from the opposite sex, or maybe they ran out of money and so they're not getting, whatever their little shtick was, right? And not all narcissists are attractive or rich, but yeah. So I don't know if that's helpful at all. I probably should give you more, but I have done videos on this as well. So what they look like in day-to-day life is a regular person who might not be as together as they used to be, or they might be trying a little too hard. And it's more about how they treat you. I hope that's a little bit helpful. Um, okay. All right. Yes, Dolce, leaving an abusive relationship is absolutely a multi step process. Charlotte, hello. It's good to see you again. Major DZ says, Doreen, yes, you do. Yeah, I would love to hear your story, Doreen. I want to hear everybody's story. I just don't, we should all be telling our story on some level when we're ready. True says to Jim Barr, the narcissist doesn't love you. They love what you do for them. Yes, yes, 100%, my friend. Um, Usually it's at the highest level with a narcissist. That's right. They love what you do for them. That's right. Oh, usury. Oh, that's a good word. All right. Yes. Multi-step process. That is a good point. And for those of you who are still in that process or who are preparing for that process, if you go to queenbee.com/plan, PLAN, whole bunch of good information for you there. Free, free, free. No strings attached, except I do ask now for your email address because people were downloading it and re-uploading it as other stuff for other people. So, all right. If you're confused, it's probably a sign to let go no matter how much it hurts. That is a really good point. Whoa, I didn't do it, Kay. That's a great name. Oh, we have a new member in the house. I am everything. Welcome, Spanily friend. Welcome. Happy that you're here. Thank you for joining. We have a new channel member. Oh, very cool. Okay. Doreen says to who and how. You heard me, Doreen, right? To go to queenbee.com, and I think it's Survivor Stories. You can just Google Queen Being Survivor Stories and find it there. Um, I am everything says living in trauma. My narcissist mother has cropped me out of my life, abducted my kids, took my home, had an attorney, almost died of COVID. I'm hopeful it's the end of the world. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. Uh, this is horrible. Um, she sounds incredibly toxic. I'm so sorry. I actually dealt with I did a story a while back about this, where a lady, I always say her name wrong. It's Nona or Noni. I can't remember, but it starts with an N. And she was in a situation like that. Her sister took her children and got CPS involved and lied and lied and lied. And she got videos of her children begging her to come get them. She can't. She's legally not allowed to. It's horrible. I have my own story about something similar, but luckily I didn't have the same experience. But I'm just really really sorry. Big hugs and love to you, my friend. Jesse's life. Hello, Jesse. Thank you for the super chat. Jesse says, can you become a narcissist after experiencing narcissistic abuse? Like, can you develop NPD after experiencing narcissist abuse? No, not in my opinion. I mean, okay, I guess anything's possible, but my experience is this. What narcissistic personality disorder is developed in childhood 99.9% of the time. There's a small percentage of people who might become a narcissist in certain circumstances. They call it acquired situational narcissism, such as if they become famous all of a sudden, or rich all of a sudden, or they're promoted into some crazy, powerful job all of a sudden. But in most cases it develops in childhood, and it's a result of the way that you're treated by your parents, and it has to do with your attachment style and all this other stuff. I've done videos on all that. After narcissistic abuse, what happens is you are dealing with a couple different things, lots of different things, but you're dealing with CPTSD, which is complex post-traumatic stress disorder, or some symptoms from that at least. In many cases, most of us have some symptoms. Most of us are also not diagnosed because I'm not even sure they fully diagnose that anymore. But basically, what it looks like is, you've got some issues, right? You're stressed out, you're whatever, but there's there are a lot of issues, trauma related issues that go with that. But on top of that, you have narcissistic fleas, right? And this is probably what you're talking about, where you will become, well, one thing that happened to me was I became uh, far less connected, if that makes sense, emotionally speaking. So it was about not tolerating stuff from people, not tolerating, maybe overly, feeling annoyed with people when they were having a hard time, or feeling annoyed when somebody else complained, because I would just think, their life is nothing like what I've had to go through, or I don't have the energy to deal with that anymore. So I might have looked like I didn't have a lot of empathy during the healing stuff. The other side of that coin is little habits you might pick up, right? Like you might catch yourself talking like a bully if you spent a lot of time with someone who talked like a bully, or you might catch yourself being automatically acting a certain way to a certain person because that's how you were always treated. And so the thing is, if you're in that situation, Jesse, where you're doubting yourself and you're wondering, did I develop narcissistic personality disorder because of this? I'm going to say you didn't, most likely. I would say go talk to a psychologist if you want to make sure. But what I believe is most narcissists are not aware of the level of personality disorder they might be, and they certainly don't see any reason to fix it or change it. So my guess is you have what we call narcissistic fleas, and that is something that can be resolved with your own, self-help stuff, as well as, therapy or coaching, depending on your situation. So I hope that's a little bit helpful. All right. Um, at this point, I am a little over time, and I do need to get moving, everybody. So yeah, Mystique says I now have fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome, as well as rheumatoid, I don't know how to say that. I can't remember. Arthritis, irritable bowel syndrome. The list goes on and on. Yeah, this is sadly more common than you think, and I'm really sorry. Um, yeah. Okay, everybody. Here's what we're gonna do. Jim Barr says she really loves me. I don't know what his rest of. Okay, okay, guys. I've got to wrap up. I'm really sorry, but as always, if you leave your comments here, or especially in the comment section below, and Dana and I recently, we got a new shared email address, and I'm going to tell you about that in a moment. Um, let's see, I'm going to tell you what the email address is. I think it's just Angie and Dana at Gmail, but I'm not sure. I don't think that's it. Don't use that one. I'm going to just look it up for us really quick. Okay, it is, I'm about to tell you. Here it goes. Okay. Oh, I lied. It's livestreamtuesdays@gmail.com. Livestreamtuesdays@gmail.com. So you can send your question there as well. So if you don't want to leave your question in the chat below, and then you can even let us know when you send us an email at livestreamtuesdays.com. Let us know, do you want us to say your name or not? Because we don't have to. You know what I mean? Whatever you want us to say, or you can put a fake name or whatever you want us to use, because we understand the need for privacy sometimes. So that is another thing to think about. So please leave your comments, oh, I just saw another super chat. Thank you. Let me just really quick catch this from AB, who says, how do you get over the loss of a person the narcissist has turned against you, like your best friend, then does a final discard? Oh, I'm so sorry. This is another thing that they do. So how do you get over the loss of them? It's not going to be easy, but the first thing you need to do is recognize that someone who's really, really your best friend, it's going to be for them to allow that person to manipulate you to that point, to excuse me, to manipulate them to that point that they are able to be pulled away from you, their best friend. Not only is the narcissist is certainly at least partially to blame for that, but you have to ask yourself, how close were we when they could allow this to happen? I mean, I don't know the whole story, so I would need to hear more information. But I feel like if it was my personal best friend, I don't think that would even be an option or a possibility because I don't think that my best friend would necessarily want that to be or even allow that to happen. So that would be my question for you. How do you get over the loss of a person they've turned against you? Personally, I have had several family members and other people turned against me because of a certain narcissist in my own life. And here's how I got over it. I went no contact and I just stopped. And I had to heal myself and figure out who I was from there, which I had no idea, but it took some time. I figured it out mostly. I'm still working on it. But yeah, how do you get over it? You move forward and you realize I think it's really important. Perspective is important. If I could hear your whole story, I could probably give you a better answer than this. But just getting on perspective on the fact that they were able to do that to you in the first place. It's just like when somebody, when a spouse cheats on a spouse and you get mad at the other person that they cheated with instead of the spouse. Like it wasn't that person's responsibility to protect the marriage, right? It was your spouse's responsibility. And you might not like that person. And I totally get that and would never blame you for that. But it still wasn't their job to protect your marriage. And just like in this case, it was your best friend's job to protect your friendship in that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that helps at all, but big hugs to you, and I'm so sorry, everybody. I'm so sorry you went through that. All right, I really do have to wrap up now, guys. I've gone like about almost 20 minutes over. 20 minutes over. Sorry about that. Thank you for being here with me today. But please do let me know too if you want me to do more of these streams. I saw that somebody said yes. Let me know, and I'll try to squeeze more of them into my time. My only issue is that I know that Jack and Hufflemom don't really like the morning streams very much, and that's kind of the only time I have on a consistent basis where I could squeeze something in. So I could try to do a couple more afternoon streams here and there, but I can possibly do more morning streams than afternoon streams. So think about that too and let me know your thoughts, everybody. I do need some help in these streams sometimes, especially when I'm on my own. So, all right. Big hugs and love, everybody. Thank you so much for being here again. Please do email livestreamtuesdays@gmail.com and let us know. Let me make sure it's Tuesdays with an S before I hang up. Hold on. Yes, live stream Tuesdays with an S, all one word, at gmail.com. And Dana and I will both get that message. All right. Okay, everybody, we will see you next week. I think we'll still be here on this channel next week. Thank you so much, everybody. Major AB. Um, Thank you. Mystique, Puppy Time, Nubia, Angela Falsetta. Hey, number one. Um, Jack Lumen, Hufflemom, Mod Squad people. Thank you. Bonnie, Jillian, I don't know if you're still here, but thank you for being here, my friend. I miss you. Doreen, yes, do more. Okay. All right, guys, I'm picking up what you are putting down. Oh, thank you, Hufflemom. That's good information. Hufflemom says she'll do the morning thing. Okay, we're going to talk about it, girl. We'll talk about it. All right. Thank you, Cherie. Thank you, Angela, everybody. Okay, guys, I'll see you soon. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Tina Marie. I'm really going to hang up this time. Okay.